Hi, I'm Father Anthony Hannon from Viam Pacis, and this is To Prepare His Way. Cynicism is the cancer that is caused by scandal. There are many scandals in the church and in the world of politics, and I would say even in the judicial system. Scandal is a sin, but it's an interesting sin because what it means is that if I commit the sin of scandal, that means that by my actions, or maybe by my inactions, or by the way that I live, this is, putting others in jeopardy because they could either follow my bad example or fall into some other sin. Look, there's terrible, terrible sins going on in the church that are being revealed, and this is very disheartening for anyone who loves Jesus and who loves His church. And it's very tempting to become cynical, to throw up our arms, to become despondent, to think that all priests and all bishops are corrupt. And it's the same thing in the world of politics. When politicians lie, obstruct justice, abuse their power, this tempts us to be cynical about politics. And the same thing when we witness judicial activism, or when we see justice not being done. Now here in Canada, for example, in the criminal justice system, we have Crown attorneys. And they're overworked, and they do their best with the evidence that police provide them to make the case to convict criminals. But often they are not able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that an individual has committed a crime, so the person gets acquitted. What is the antidote? What is the cure? What is the what do you call it? What is the chemotherapy for cynicism in the face of these scandals? And I would say the antidote has to do with faith in justice and motivated by love. My friends, whether people believe in God or not, whether priests or bishops or popes or politicians, prime ministers, presidents, whoever it is, judges, whether anyone believes in God or not, He is real. And Jesus is God incarnate. And He came and walked this earth, and He was killed and rose from the dead on the third day. He ascended into heaven. He will come again to judge the living and the dead. My friends, when each of us die, we will meet our Maker, and we will receive our particular judgment. We will either go to heaven or we will go to hell. If we're on our way to heaven, if that becomes the merciful judgment of God on us because we died in a state of grace and friendship with God, that is no mortal sin on our souls, then we'll probably, likely, most of us, speaking for myself, have to go under a tremendous amount of purification before we can enjoy the beatific vision for all eternity. But at the final judgment, everyone will see everyone else's sins. And if we're on our way to heaven, people will be praising God for His mercy. And if we're on our way to hell, people will be praising God for His justice. They will not get away with it. These crooks, these thieves, these murderers, these perverts in the church, in politics, and perhaps in the judicial system, they will not get away with it. God is just, or He is not God at all. They will not get away with it. And this is our hope. Now, we are to have on the mind and the heart of Christ. We are to put on the mind of Christ, St. Paul says, and in the litany of the Sacred Heart, Lord, make my heart like unto thine. It is God's desire that all men, that is, all human beings, should be saved. We need to have the love, enough love in our hearts to get beyond our cynicism, get beyond our own kind of personal vengeance, right, on that kind of natural level, and love these criminals enough to bring them to justice in this life, that they might repent, that they might atone for their sins, they might do penance on this earth, that the Lord might show them mercy, and they might be saved. That is true love. The cynicism also not only leads us to despondency, but also apathy, which are connected, of course. I think it's important that we, at the emotional level, get angry at the injustices that we see before our eyes. It is important. But then we have to work through that and get beyond that, to have the mind of Christ, the heart of Christ, and then to seek justice in this world, in this earth, on this side of judgment. That being said, if we fail, or if those who are in positions of power or are particularly adept at deceiving others, if they get away with it on earth, we can be assured and take solace that they will not get away with it in front of God at their judgment. Friends, judgment and justice are essential to the gospel. These things are essential to the good news. They are part of the good news. And when we forgive someone, right, it is not saying that what they did was right or okay or excusable. But when we forgive someone, what we're saying is we're going to let God judge them. I hope these are words of consolation, hope to you. Don't fall into cynicism. Please leave your comments. Please visit viampacis.org. I'll leave the link in the description. And consider becoming a supporter of this project here. And in the meantime, into the way of peace. God bless you. The truth will set you free.